the next year, Martinsville.
Mm-hmm.
When did you know that you were in trouble?
On pit road, before we pull off of pit road, I knew I was in trouble because
Really?
we had some things in our car that was a little unique. We had a seat that was designed, and it's not all that difficult to make, but it was a double line seat. In the center section, basically, was a cavity. We could pump fresh air in there. And we just had a pretty simple ice chest with a dry ice block in it. And it looked like a still in there, a bunch of copper pipe and tubing and stuff. So the air would have to run through that chest, and it would run through the duct hose into that seat. It worked so good that we put all the insulation, all that in the car underneath the seat area. All that insulation was extra weight and stuff. We pulled all that stuff out. So most people, say, well, you're not going to get burnt so bad. You got the insulation. We pulled all that stuff out. The seat worked so good. Leaving pit road, hit the button to switch, and the thing's not working. And there's a circuit breaker I can reach, and it's not working. And basically, found out it was better to take the hose off the seat instead of using the hose. And that same thing also fed the cold air to your helmet. So it was just a lot of scenarios, a lot of things added up to compound the problem that we had.
How far was it into the race when it really started to impact you?
I was doing everything I thought I could do to get to the halfway point. And then we come in. I remember coming down pit road, and one thing you want to do, you're going to be careful when you put ice water. You dump a bunch of ice water in a seat, and I assumed that the seat had holes drilled in it. You can always drill holes in a seat. Well, because the way the seat was designed, when they put the water in the seat, it didn't get to any of the drain holes. So basically, the water was starting to almost. It didn't boil in the seat, obviously, but it was not far from it. So now I'm sitting in. So it compounded its problem. And then they give you like a garden hose. They use it on the radiator for quick connect in case it overheats. They can do a quick connect. They took the quick connect, put on a regular garden hose thing,
Sprayer.
Handed that thing to me, and that hose had been laying out in the sun. So they took that thing, and I put my goggles up on my face and just squirted it like a garden hose on me. And the water had to be. If it wasn't boiling, it wasn't far from it. So when I did that, man, I did everything but pass out right there when that hot water hit me in the face.
So it didn't help any. It just made it worse.
Oh, no, it was hot water. It was like it would burn your skin almost because the gardeners, you go wash your car and the hoses and how hot it gets. I had a big dose of that right in my face. And so it was like, how much abuse can we give this guy this day? And it wasn't anybody's fault. It's just a series of things. And it got to the end, and I remember laying in the corner of the seat, just laying in the seat corner. And I finally told him, I said, listen, I can hear you guys, but I'm not talking unless something comes up. You need to know, I'll let you know. But so the last 100 laps, I don't even think I talked. I just remember being that hot.
I don't want to get too dramatic, but it sounds like it could have very easily been a life-threatening thing.
I don't think so. The reason I say that, because I've been hotter once before.
Really?
At Nashville, Tennessee. And they used to have the moat, the ditch around it, and evaporate some. I remember being so hot there. Being hot's not, it's terrible. It's uncomfortable, and you know that it's a relief coming at the end of the race, And it's kind of a mental psych deal you would do. But that day in Nashville, it got so hot, and I still had like 30 laps to go. I started getting chilled. I knew the signs of a heat stroke were coming on because now. I don't know about dying, but having actually a heat stroke. That of all the times in a car, I can only remember that happened one time where I actually had chill bumps on my skin, and I was, wait a minute, this isn't right. This is right, and I just remember knowing the signs of a heat stroke. So the Martinsville race, as hot as it was, I never got those chills. I was just hot. So I wasn't concerned about that. I was concerned about just really going to sleep probably more than anything.
How much of Victory Lane do you remember?
I remember it pretty well. I remember thinking to myself that if we can get to the checker flag, and I told her, guys, I said, listen, I'm not going to stop at Victory Lane. The infield, I said, you make a path to the infield care center because I'm gonna need to get hydrated pretty quick. I'm gonna need an IV bag or something. I'm driving right up to the hospital, and that's where I'm gonna get out at. So y'all be there. That's where I'm getting out at. So I made it that far. And I remember I mean, I remember needing relief, getting oxygen and all that. But I don't even remember getting out of the car. I remember I saw pictures later of Kirby Boone. He's been around for quite a few years, still around today. Helped pull me out of the car, got me on the ground, and I remember, I think it was Jerry Punch came up to me with a microphone. Of course, we're robots, man. I just say, it just comes out. You put a mic in front of a driver, you always got something to say. But I remember between hits on the oxygen mask and talking to Jerry, I still remember that. I don't remember a lot of other interviews, but I remember that one.
How seriously were you injured?
Well, I was burnt bottom of my thighs. Anywhere I touched the seat was pretty much blistered, and in some areas, right, my butt only I couldn't sit down real good for a while because on each butt cheek I had it was more than a first degree. I would call it second degree burn. So I mean, it hung around a little while, but yeah, I tried to get Linda to help me rub that ointment on there, but I couldn't get any cooperation out of her. She said, "You're on your own on that one, buddy."